Many people today are expressing concerns about the current state of hip-hop, especially when it comes to female artists. The most recent artist that sparked controversy is Sukihana and Sexxy Red. However, it's essential to acknowledge that this was not the case when it came to female hip-hop, but now it seems to be the norm. In this video, I'm going to dig into the history of women in hip-hop and how this new trend emerged, which eventually became the standard. I refer to this as the Lil Kim Effect. Before we explore the Lil Kim Effect, let's reflect on the hip-hop scene before Lil Kim, particularly concerning female rappers. In the early stages of hip-hop, it was a male-dominated industry and female rappers were a rare sight. There was a belief that women did not have what it takes to become a successful artist in hip-hop. Sha-Rock, from the group Funky 4+1, she was the first female artist to lay lyrical raps down on a vinyl record. There was very few and far between women in hip-hop in the early infancy stages of hip-hop. Women always possessed the talent and they always possessed the stage presence to become a successful artist, but they always had to go through significant barriers to get to the next step. Female artists in hip-hop often had to come to the scene through a male artist who had already established themselves. Examples of this is Roxanne Shante, who entered the scene with Marley Marl. MC Lyte, who started her career under Audio 2. Da Brat emerged under the guidance of Jermaine Dupri. Yo-Yo entered the scene through Ice Cube. Lauryn Hill partnered with Wyclef. The Lady of Rage broke her career through with Snoop Dogg. And Sugar T came in the spotlight with E40. There's some exceptions such as Queen Latifah, who made her mark coming through as an artist without a male mentor. In fact, Queen Latifah later introduced Moni Love. However, the mentorship by a male artist was the standard route for a female artist to get into hip-hop. This sets the stage for the Lil Kim Effect. Before we dive into the Lil Kim Effect, let's discuss her mentor who introduced her into the game, the Notorious B.I.G. The Notorious B.I.G. had ambitions beyond just being a rapper. He aimed to become a hip-hop mogul and already took steps in that direction before his tragic death March 9th, 1997. There were reports that Notorious B.I.G. started a record label with his close friend Jay-Z called The Commission. And oftentimes you hear B.I.G. mention The Commission on certain tracks. With this mindset, Notorious B.I.G. put together a group of rappers which he mentored, which is called the Junior Mafia. The standout star of Junior Mafia was Lil Kim, and it wasn't even close. Lil Kim's talent, sex appeal, and provocative lyrics made her a standout, and it seemed like Notorious B.I.G. was ready to take her to the next level. It's worth noting that explicit and provocative lyrics weren't a new thing at this time. But what set Lil Kim apart from other artists who tried to take that route was the fact that she had Notorious B.I.G., the #1 artist at the time, backing her. Lil Kim was not only provocative, but also introduced a new level of sexiness, wearing outfits that were most revealing than other female artists were wearing at that time. This was a gamble because most female rappers in that era dressed in baggy clothes similar to their male counterparts. This marked the beginning of a new era known as the Lil Kim Effect. Before we go on, if you like this thought-provoking content, please consider hitting subscribe, turn notifications so you won't miss out on videos like this, because you're not seeing stuff like this on the internet nowhere else. Lil Kim's career took off rapidly. She not only rapped differently from other female artists with her explicit content, but she was also exceptionally lyrically talented. There wasn't an artist who could outshine her on the track. Lil Kim also possessed one of the best flows of her times. She represented the new wave in hip-hop. However, her reception wasn't universally positive, especially among older and more conservative audience. There was a talk show that discussed Lil Kim's lyric and image.
Her career. Lil Kim, I started reading some lyrics here. How you like it, baby, from the front, from the back. Give that beat a smack. Bet your man won't do it like that. Can't work the middle because this thing is too little. Let me grab your tatas, do the cha-cha. Now, they're little kids. This little girl's 12 years old and keeps singing the lyrics.
Our beautiful artists are in a position to send a message to our people, a message of deliverance, a message of prosperity, a message of rise up, you mighty people. Then why open up your legs and show us in a negative light? Stand up and let your light so shine. You're beautiful. Their message should be a message that is beautiful. 12-year-old girls listening, you can tell them all you want. don't do it. If your mother is smoking cigarettes in front of the children are going to smoke the cigarettes.
There's a 10-year-old in this family, and you said that you were very struck, Mom, by watching that 12-year-old, Chanel, over there, so impressed with Lil Kim. What hit you?
It hit me that she was so impressed with Kim's music and the lyrics. I've listened to the CD, so I know the sexually explicit lyrics. My 14-year-old son gave me the tape and told me, here, Ma, I don't want it. But he has guidance. He has us in our life, and we're guiding him. I'm thankful for that. What about the young people? Like you say, it should be up to the music industry, the radios, you know, to not play this music. They can pick up these tapes and these CDs anywhere. They can copy them from friends, from older kids. You know, what about the children that don't have that guidance in their life? Somebody to tell them.
The problem was the discussion was geared towards an older demographic. Hip-hop, on the other hand, was predominantly consumed by a younger audience. Therefore, those who had reservations about Lil Kim weren't typically her fan base. With Notorious B.I.G. backing her, Lil Kim had the ideal formula to create something groundbreaking, and it worked. Her debut album, Hardcore, debuted at number 11 on the Billboard music charts, and has since gone double platinum, selling over 2 million copies. This success became the new standard for women in rap. The Lil Kim Effect did not happen overnight, but there were also new artists coming out around the same time, such as Foxy Brown and Trina, that followed in her footsteps. As time passed, female artists started embracing more sexy and feminine appearances, in contrast to baggy, street-style clothes that they were doing in earlier years. Few years later, male artists who mentored female artists and had them come out under them start bringing out female artists to look more sexual and more sexy. I give you some examples. We had Busta Rhymes when he came out with Rah Digga, when 3 6 Mafia introduced Gangsta Boo. DMX and Swiss Beats mentored Eve. Jay-Z introduced Emil. Fat Joe brought out Remy Ma. However, at this time, talent was still essential. There was an attempt to push a less talented artist and try to have the sex appeal. For example, there was Mercedes, who came out under No Limit with Master P. She didn't have the talent, but she had the nasty lyrics, but it didn't work at that time. I'm gonna delve further into the rise of untalented artists within this formula later in this video. Even female rappers who had a name for themselves before Lil Kim started to sexy up their look, such as Salt and Pepper and The Brat. Now, with this established formula of hypersexuality, explicit content, and controversy, which was supported by star power and exceptional lyrical talent, there was a vacancy for new artists to carry the torch as Lil Kim got older. Given that the industry primarily caters to a younger audience, a shift was inevitable. This opened the door for Nicki Minaj, who entered the scene under Lil Wayne. Nicki Minaj found herself in a favorable position. Unlike Lil Kim, who faced backlash from older generations, Nicki Minaj was greeted with enthusiasm from a generation that had grown up with Lil Kim, making Nicki's explicit style the new norm. Moreover, Nicki Minaj made her debut in the digital age when the parents who might have opposed her didn't have the technical savvy to navigate streaming platforms as well as their children did. Just like Lil Kim, Nicki was incredibly talented and dominated tracks. Talent was a crucial component, but in the fast-paced digital era, the gap between Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj wasn't as wide. A few years later, two more female artists, Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, entered the scene. When Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B arrived, they did not need male mentorship to make their mark. Popularity could now be achieved through social media and reality shows. Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B represent the new direction in women's hip-hop. Like their predecessors, they were lyrically talented, but they quickly realized there was no need to be well-rounded hip-hop artists. Instead, they found the niche that would work wonders for their career. In contrast to Lil Kim on the Quiet Storm remix with Mobb Deep, or Nicki Minaj on the track Monster with Jay-Z, Rick Ross, and Kanye West, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion focused on songs that were either explicit or empower women. This became a signature style, and any artist who collaborated with them embraced their lane. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion rose to prominence during the TikTok era, a time when talent took a back seat and songs became catchy one-liners relevant to social media posts became the norm. Furthermore, making music with high audio quality had become more accessible than during Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj time. Consequently, it became easier for artists to enter the scene, although music lacked the craft seen in previous eras. TikTok effectively took over the entire music industry. The platform became the primary driver for discovering new music, acting as an A&R, radio, music videos, Billboard charts, and the path artists now pursue to achieve stardom. In my opinion, artists like Coi Leray and Lotto should have replaced Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. However, it's Sexxy Red and Sukihana who stepped into that role. The formula for untalented artists to rise to the top was forged by a female rap duo, City Girls, who excelled in the TikTok era. This paved the way for artists like Sukihana and Sexxy Red. The prevalence of artists whom people discuss without being able to name 5 of their songs underscores this trend. The Lil Kim Effect didn't initially manifest in the way it exists today. Sexxy Red and Sukihana are far from the caliber of artists that Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj was. But this is the outcome it had led to. The impact of Lil Kim Effect is now influencing male rap as well. Consider Drake, one of today's biggest artists who is increasingly selling viral moments rather than just music. He's not alone. He represents just one example of many. Let me know how you feel about the Lil Kim Effect and how the Lil Kim Effect basically was the grounds for what hip-hop became today. I wanted to do this video. I really want to get you guys' opinion about it. Let me know how you feel about this in the comments, man. Also, man, let me know how you feel about the hip-hop series. There's a whole playlist. You know what I'm saying? Some of the videos did not hit the algorithm, but I think you guys should go back and watch the other 2. I think that it was some of my best work, man. I love what I did with those. I'll put the videos on the end screen, and also I'll put the playlist on the end screen as well, so you guys could check out the other 2 videos. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. All right, man. Till next time. Peace. Real Rap Ron is signing off. All right, later. Also, if you're into this kind of content, please hit subscribe. All right, thanks.